back to the garage. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please go ahead, click on subscribe, and also click on that bell to receive all the updates and activities on my channel. All right, so this is the latest on the XCR 700, the project Sled for 2020. In the last segment, we pulled the engine, pressure washed the engine bay, and degreased the engine and everything else. So now we're at the point where we're going to start removing some assemblies, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the primary. So the primary on the XC700s, specifically the 97, the 98, and I want to say on the 96 are a little bit different in the sense of the way they come off. They come off, the same way using a clutch puller, but the clutches on the 97s and the 98s, and again maybe the 96s, are a little bit different. So we're looking at a couple different clutch pullers. So like I said, you have 3 different clutch pullers. This is the one that you would use on anything from like an 03 and up, the current day. And you have this one, which is a black one that's traditionally used for all the indies. And then you have this one, which is just down here, for example. This is actually a puller for a skidoo, but it represents the kind of format that we're looking at on this particular Liberty setup. The thread of the puller is actually the same diameter as the thread that goes into the crank. All right. So within the clutch, you have the bolt that passes through the shaft of the primary, and then it goes into the clutch, right? And then when it comes out, the same thread that's in the crank is actually the same type of thread that's in the primary. So what's going to happen is you're going to back it out, and then it's going to catch, and then you have to unthread it again, and then you pull it out. You have a couple options when you go to remove these type of clutches. You can go buy a clutch puller specifically for this particular model. Or if you want, you can save a couple bucks and use the water trick. The way this clutch is set up, you can actually use the original bolt that came with the engine to be used as your clutch puller. If you never use the water trick, pay attention, because this is pretty easy. It actually works pretty well. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use an impact to remove the clutch bolt, and this is a 21 millimeter bolt. Okay, so what you'll see is you're gonna break it free, and then you're gonna go to pull it out, and then it's gonna stop, right? So right now it's engaging the secondary set of threads within the clutch. All you're gonna do is you're gonna start it, right? So you see it's threading out. We're gonna take the impact again. Okay, and we're gonna back it out completely. So there you go. So that's what the clutch bolt looks like. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this bolt as our puller. All right, so the first thing you want to do is, if you're doing this on the bench, make sure you do this first and foremost. Grab a piece of rope or a bungee cord, and what you want to do is you want to thread it through the primary and hook it onto something, so you know that when this thing pops off, it's not going to go anywhere. All right. So do that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our clutch bolt as the puller, like I said. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some Teflon tape, put it on there. And what you want to do is you're going to use a generous amount of tape, right? Because what's going to happen is when we engage this, we don't want any water to pass through or pass by the bolt. We want all the water that we're going to put in to be in front of the bolt. We don't want it to pass by. So don't worry about using too much, all right? The more the better, because what will happen is if you don't use enough, you'll know, because when you go to run the bolt in, you'll just feel it give way and actually just continue down the shaft, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that there real quick. Then we're gonna take some water, fill the cavity. All right, so it's full. Then you're just going to take your bolt. You can see how tight a fit that is. So you can actually see the water come out. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to engage the bolt into the clutch, and you'll feel it bind up, which is what you want. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take your impact and we're going to slowly tighten it up. All right, and there you go. This clutch came right off, right? All right, piece of cake. So now we'll take the bungee cord out. And there you go. One clutch removed for probably about 50 cents with the Teflon tape. All right, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comments box. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, have a great day.